Leatherman's. Leatherman? I don't know. Leatherman invented the modern plier-based multi-tool. The story goes that Mr. Leatherman took a like a gap year after graduating from college with an engineering degree. And he bought an old Land Rover. And he and his girlfriend or fiance or whoever drove across Europe with it. The damn thing kept breaking down, as Land Rovers like to do. British quality and all that. And he had a Swiss Army knife, and that was one of his few tools. And he kept wishing he had a set of pliers. So when he returned back to America after this trip, he set about designing something similar to a Swiss Army knife, but instead of being based around a pocket knife, it was based around a set of folding pliers. His original was the PST, which I believe stood for Pocket Survival Tool, and it started evolving. This is absolutely not a PST, but it's similar in basic outline to a PST. You know, it's made out of stamped sheet metal handles. All the tools are on the inside of the handles, and it folds out like this. You have a serrated knife blade, a combination can opener, bottle opener, and wire stripper. A long three-dimensional Phillips head screwdriver. A saw blade. Plain edge knife blade. Two different sizes of flathead screwdriver, and an old little lanyard loop, but I'm not even going to bother showing you that. And a file. One side is crisscross, the other side is more fine. File is basically just for wood. It's also got replaceable 154 cm jaws for wire cutters. And here's the profile of the tool. Then we have the Wave, or in this case the Wave Plus. The Wave is actually a little bit higher priced tool. This is a Rebar, by the way. The Wave is a little bit higher priced tool than the Rebar. It's also much more modern. Though the Wave is no longer considered one of Leatherman's premium tools. They have plenty of higher end tools even than the Wave, but I've never tried them. You know, most of their higher end stuff looks more like jewelry than an actual tool to me. But the Wave is distinct because it has one hand opening outside blades. It's got a serrated knife blade as well, and I can say these serrations are a definite upgrade from the serrations on the Rebar. It's got a saw, and again the saw is a better saw blade than on the Rebar. Plain edge knife, which there's going to be a trend here. The plain edge is better than the plain edge on the Rebar. It's got a two-sided file. This one is actually fine diamond on one side and crisscross on the other. The diamond is actually suitable for filing on metal as well as wood, so that's a nice plus. You can, at least in theory, sharpen knives with the diamond file. Then we've got a smoother action opening. We have a little bit different profile to the needle nose pliers. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up. These are more rounded and they come to a finer point, whereas the pliers on the Rebar are more heavy duty. What makes the Wave Plus a plus instead of just the standard Wave is because it also has the replaceable 154 cm wire cutters. On the inside we have the same combination can opener, bottle opener, and wire stripper. We have a replaceable bit driver. It comes with this two-dimensional Phillips head and a 3/16 inch flathead, so swaps around. Leatherman also sells a bit set that you can include, and it also has a bit driver, so you can use standard standard hex head bits. Then on the other handle, we have a large flathead screwdriver, a very small eyeglass size bit driver. That's actually pretty neat. If I can get it back together. And a little set of scissors, which work pretty decent. On paper, the Wave seems like a definite upgrade to the Rebar. Most people seem to prefer the Wave to the Rebar, and the Wave retails for $20 or $30 more than the Rebar generally. I, however, have a distinct preference for the Rebar. It's a little bit more crudely made in some ways, but I feel, first of all, I pocket carry Leathermans. I never carry them on a pouch on my hip. So this is a more low profile and comfortable object to have in your pocket than this, with all this crap hanging off, you know, for the one outside opening blades. This is also a lighter tool, which makes it a little bit more comfortable in the pocket as well. I find that I use the ruler a lot for scale. I didn't mention it, but both of them have metric and inch rulers on their handle scales. The ruler is easily readable with the tool closed on the Rebar, whereas you have to actually open it up to see the ruler on the Wave. The outside opening tools. I don't view this as really much of an advantage. First of all, due to the way it opens, I mean, you're not going to get a better handle than this. And that's a very strange handle setup. Usually you want to have the blade of a knife more or less in line with your thumb. Here you've got to really reach down low to access it. The other blades make it a little bit more uncomfortable. Whereas, you know, you can have it like this and it's perfectly smooth, or more often what I'll do with the Rebar is I will just fold it off like this. That way it's nice and thin and you don't have much in your way. And in this mode it feels very much like a Swiss Army knife. So that I would consider ergonomically as a win for the Rebar. The outside opening blades, I mean, if I need a knife blade to open one-handed, I have knife blades. I have real knife blades. I honestly wish Leatherman would just get rid of their knife blades because they suck. You know, it's just a wasted tool slot in my opinion. What Leatherman could come up with something more useful than a plain edge knife blade. The serrated blade I actually use a fair amount. But the plain edge blades, get rid of them. Get rid of them. They're pointless on a Leatherman. Give it a different tool instead. That's my opinion. Yeah. If you want a knife blade, get a real knife. The lock. I will say the lock on the Wave is a little bit nicer seeming than on the Rebar, but it's also a little bit more complicated. When you compare one of the most used tools of a multi-tool, the screwdriver, the screwdriver on the three-dimensional Phillips head screwdriver of the Rebar absolutely curb stomps this little abomination on the Leatherman, on the Wave. This is more of a gimmick than an actual tool, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done work with it, but there have been a lot more jobs where I've completed just with this Leatherman Rebar than I have with the Wave. In part because the screwdrivers on the Wave just suck. The bottle openers are a wash. Bottle opener, can opener, wire stripper. In all three cases, they sort of emulate the older Winger style bottle opener, can opener, seen on Winger Swiss Army knives. And I would say that it's comparing them to Victorinox. The Victorinox bottle opener is a better bottle opener. The Victorinox can opener is a better can opener. However, the Victorinox combo bottle opener and can opener is a worse combo bottle opener and can opener than the Leatherman. Does that seem clear as mud? Well, so yeah. For a long time, I carried multi-tools off and on. When I really began to appreciate them was in 2021 when my wife and son and I went to Puerto Rico. That was right after the lifting of COVID lockdowns. Puerto Rico's COVID policies were off. They were insane, in my opinion. You walk down the street with your mask down here, and police would turn on their lights and sirens and yell at you to pull it back up over your face. Just walking down the road. Meanwhile, I actually saw a couple of guys on scooters circling some ladies, catcalling them, right in front of a cop, and the cop didn't do anything. I'd say their priorities are kind of out of whack, but that's just me. Because we went to Puerto Rico, the knife laws were a little bit uncertain, so I didn't take, an actual folding knife. We also had, space was a premium since we only wanted to have one check bag. So all I took was a Leatherman Rebar. And good heavens, was this an invaluable tool. We used each and every tool on this multiple times. My wife filed her nails with that wood file. It gave a ragged edge, but it fixed a hangnail, no problem. I used the hardened wire cutter jaws. We wound up losing our luggage temporarily, so we had only the clothes on our back. So the first thing we did was went to Walmart in San Juan, and we bought a bunch of new clothes. Well, guess what? They didn't want to have, because of the COVID restrictions, they didn't have any cashiers there. So when we bought all our clothes, we realized they still had the big circular security discs wired on. So I was able to cut them all off with my Leatherman. We sliced up fruit with it. I had to just use every single tool on this at least once, and most of them again and again. It was invaluable. That really sort of revolutionized my idea of just how good a multi-tool is. And this would have simply been an inferior tool. The screwdrivers suck. Scissors are something I've never really understood the point of. If you've got a knife blade, why do you need scissors for? It's superfluous. The pliers are less heavy duty. I'm not sure this could have withstood crunching through those hardened steel wires on the security discs. So yeah. I guess what I'm saying is Leatherman Rebar for the win. Actually, one thing I've been meaning to do is get the Leatherman Super Tool 300. The Rebar is a compact version of the Super Tool. It's all the same tools, but the Super Tool is probably 20% larger or 25% larger or something like that. It's one of Leatherman's most heavy-duty tools, and I thought that would be a great travel tool, just like this was. The Wave, on the other hand, is more for sort of urban, everyday carry. But let me know your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed the review and the story. Have a nice day.